Hi all and welcome back to episode 2 of the engine of the Beetle 1600cc. It has too much oil in it, 7 liters in total, so that's way too much. Today we are going to refurbish the carburetor, renew all the gaskets, clean it up and see how it runs with that. And if we have still the issue with the oil at the exhaust on the left side. So let's see how that goes and let's get started. Well, we have here a Solex 34-Pict3 that came off that Beetle engine, and it has a little problem. It will not keep on idle, and the acceleration pump is leaking, so I will renew it completely. I have a kit here, it's from MP. I don't know if that is the number that it sits on there, but we'll see that in a few. I already used that gasket already between here, between the upper half and the under half, so let's take it apart again and let's see how it goes now. First of all, we take off the spring. Loosen up the screws. Now we can detach it, lay that here. We take off this gasket. We will reuse that gasket because it's a brand new one. There's still some fuel in it. But first of all, we're gonna take out the vlotter. There's still fuel in it, and I'll see already some little debris in it. Okay, let's take this one out, and it's stuck. Just be careful because this is brass. Okay, cut that out. First of all, I'm going to take this one out. We'll see if that goes. No. That's a 17. That's the solenoid. Oh, there he goes. But it's loose. And what this will do is cut off the fuel that is coming in. This is 12 volt, so when you put 12 volt on it, this goes like that. So the fuel can go in. Okay, let's take out the volume control screw. That's the idle screw, sorry. I hope it will not stick. Take it out. Oops. Just be gentle with it. Oh, it falls out. So this one has a little tip, as you can see, and an O-ring. Now we take the volume control screw out. This is the large one. This one is the biggest one and has a ball tip, as you can see. Okay, what do we have here? A jet. With the holes in. I have to see in the light. Yeah, I have to blow that out, but it's not crowded with stuff in it. So we have one here. Also a jet. We will blow that out and clean it up. Okay. Now you have to take that one out. If you can see it, you have to take that one out, but first of all you have to loosen that up. That's a 13 millimeter. Okay. There's a seal there. Now we can go in with the screwdriver and loosen that up. That's this one. I'll clean it up and blow it out. Make sure you lay it all in order, so you will not search for stuff. Now let me take a special tool. And that's this one. It's just a screw. It's a 5 metric 5, I guess, or metric 4. Let me see. Don't want to tell any lies here. Oh, it's a metric 3. 3.5. Okay. That's a 4. You see that little thing here? Yeah. Screw that in. And can be a little bit harsh. Don't snug it. Now I will try to, let me get rid of this. Now we will try to take it out without damaging it. Oh, yeah, there it is, as you can see. Why do we have to take that out? Well, don't know if you can see it. There is a little ball in there. There, in that hole. Can you see it? Well, we take it out. This one. Don't try to lose it. Keep it safe, because that's very important for your carburetor. So now we will open the acceleration pump. Okay. That's one loose. Okay, so this one was wrapped. Let me see where I can find a hole, because it was leaking. I don't know. Don't see anything. But it was leaking, so I will renew it. It's possible that it leaks between this disc. Don't see anything, just this one. That is. There's a spring here underneath it. So that is very clean also, but it was leaking. This one, and it sits here, that's the regulator for the acceleration pump. When you open your valve, here, you see the pump is pushing. This is the normal setting in the middle. So if you have a flat place in your revving your RPMs, then you can adjust that a little bit up with the plus or the minus there. So this one is done. I will blow it out and clean it up, and then we come back, and then we have to redo this one. Okay, this is all cleaned up. I blow it all out, go to every hole that you can see. And as you can see, it's all very clean. First of all, we're going to do the choke, the butterfly. So let's open this. Okay, you see here 3 plastic rings. Don't lose them. Now, this is the choke with the spring that heats up when you put 12 volt on it. Plastic cover. Sometimes they are very tight in there, so be careful, they will break very easily. So we open this one. Oops. Don't lose the screws. Little spring. And take that out. Just wiggle it a little bit, and there it is. So this is the choke. I will leave it alone because it's still in a good condition. Just make sure this has not much play. The same for this one. Just make sure you don't have much play, because they will leak fuel then. What do we have still here? That's the valve, the shut-off valve. Yeah, that says. Let's clean it up a little bit. Okay. Show it like that. Pushes the needle up, and then it's closed. If there is any problem with fuel that is coming in your engine, in your oil, it can probably be that this one is not shutting off completely. Yeah, it must shut off completely. How do you test this? Is by blowing it. This one is good. I think it's already a new one in, because they had problems with the carburetor. So we'll see if I will use the new one or what. Okay, now that's done. Let's blow this all out and let's get it all back together. Okay, that cleaned up really great. Everything is clean. Very beautiful state. So okay, now we can assemble this back. First of all, let's see what we all have here in our kit. So first of all, I already used that, but we will reuse it because it's brand new. You have other gaskets, but always make sure that you use the right one, because like this one, this will not fit, because that's another type. They put several types in it, but you have to make sure it's the right one. So every time you look at the seal, they are different, so make sure you have the right one. This one, as you can see, is different. The holes will not match. This one also different. So if you take your carburetor and you lay your gasket on, always make sure, control every hole that you need is open. Otherwise you have to take another one. Okay, that's one. What do we have? Diaphragm, and directly I feel, know if you can see it, but this one is thicker than this one. This is very fragile, I guess, but this one is thicker. I hope it will be a better condition. Diaphragm for the choke. Okay, we have a gasket for underneath the carburetor to put it on the inlay. This one matched the 34-Pict3. So this one is for another carburetor. We have here our cutoff valve. It's a brand new one, but I guess I will stick to this one. Don't know. What do we have here? A set of O-rings, and then the needles. Don't know if there's one that we can use, yes or no, but we will see. Okay, there's also a manual if you have troubles to read it or to see what's needed. Here see everything that's in the kit, yeah, and a beautiful picture. It's a little bit, it's a copy, so yeah, but if you have troubles to re-find some pieces, you can look in here and then you know where it has to be. Okay, let me see what screws they have here that I can renew. That's this one. I can put a new one in. Don't know if that O-ring is for there or what. Okay, so I have to really careful to put that O-ring on. Okay, that's on, as you can see. Oh, this is on. and the old one, oops, will fly away. Okay, we put that aside. Everything we don't need anymore, we put that aside. We put it here. Okay. As you can see, this one was a larger needle, so that's for another carburetor. I guess the 28-Pict and further on. So this one we will not use that, but we will keep it. Put that back in the bag. Even this valve, I will put it back. This one we will not use also, because this one is for 28-Pict. And for the rest we will see with the gaskets what we can use. Okay, first of all, we take our valve back. I blow that out so it's clean again. When you put that in, just give it a little snug. Don't over tight it, because this is aluminium. That will break. Yeah. Also, a lot of people have problems with this tube that is coming loose. What you can do about this is put threads in and screw another tube in with threads and Loctite, and that will solve the problem. It will not push out again. This one is sturdy and good, so I will leave it. Okay, now this diaphragm here, as you can see, it has 3 holes in there, and at one hole you see 2 holes. Yeah, a little one and the bigger one. So if we look in here, you see this little tube. Well, this hole has to be there. But you take your butterfly and push it to the other side and go in like that, and it's at its place. Yeah. Now it only fits in one place, and that's here. Okay, and as you can see, the aftermarkets don't always fit. That's a problem. Yeah, you see the holes don't fit anymore. So this one is still good. Don't see any cracks. It's very flexible. So we'll see. This one is not good. I will not use that, because if I will cut that a little bit open to get it in place, or I will turn this, you see what happens with the diaphragm? It will go bananas. So no, we don't use that. That's the problem with the aftermarket. It's not always a great fit. So we take that out again. So this is a new one, but we will not use that. Let's see if this one fits better. Again, the butterfly. Put that in, and as you can see, all the holes fit very beautiful. Okay. Now, let me clean up those screws here. So we take that little spring, lay it in there, and watch where the hole is. This has to be, wait a second, I don't know if you can see it. It's a little bit tricky with that spring. Oops. And we keep that close, so the diaphragm, and as you can see, it's already in the wrong place. Yeah, keep that close so the diaphragm will not move anymore. Take your spring and do it on top. As you can see, it sits already right in place. We put that little tube at place there. Now we can screw it in. Just tighten it up. Don't go over the top. Don't kill those screws. That's in. Now the valve is in now. You can see the spring is doing his work. Take it back at place where it starts. Here we have an upstand, and this, it's in very breakable stuff. It's bakelite, so if you see here, I don't know if you can see it. 1 second. So if you can see, there's a little knob here, and in there's a sleeve that has to be in there, and if you watch closely, okay, and this one must be in here. Yeah. Now we have our choke here, and we have a little hook. So that little hook must be behind that. So if you put that in, lay it a little bit further and go back. Now, sorry, you see here 3 lines, a little dot mark, and a little dot mark, we place that in the middle. That's for starters up. So now you take this one, you see this, it has to be pointed down, yeah, but a little trick here, before you put that on, let's sit that here. We have our plastic tubes here, and what we will do, take your screw and put them on. Normally, as you can see, they will not go on. You have to screw them a little bit up. When they are new, that's another problem. Make sure you don't lose them. But I have a positive side here, they can be screwed on and they sit. They will not fall. Okay, the third one. Now remember, that little dot has to be in the middle. Screw it on a little bit. And look first if you still in place. I'm not in place here, so I will go back here. Okay. So when you screw this on, don't go over the top. Just a little snuggy, otherwise you will kill those plastic tubes. And when this is on, you'll feel the valve is closing on itself. It's possible when you put that back in that the valve, the butterfly will stand here. That's normal. Some will do, some will not. But we will see that in the future. Okay, this one is done. So we put on the choke, the diaphragm here, and it works very smoothly. That's done. Now we go to the bigger one, the under half. First of all, we will put the acceleration pump on, otherwise it's a little bit difficult to work with. First of all, we have our spring here and our diaphragm. The diaphragm sits in here like that. What you can do, what you can do, you don't have to, is put a little bit of grease on there. So this will push on the grease and not directly on the copper. In time it will go away, I know, but this is also a little bit tricky. Put this back on. Like that. And we put the screws back in. So if you screw one in, like this one, it sits in place, but it will not flip over anymore. So now you can put very safely your 3 other screws in and screw it down. Again, don't go over the top, just snug it a little bit. That's it. So, and this one is working also very smoothly. Okay, now remember this little ball here? Yeah? Now you have to watch out. Put it in along pliers. Don't lose it. Yeah, like this. It has to be in that hole again. So it's very easy with long pliers to put that back in. Yeah? Now, this stop has to be in. Just don't hit it too hard, otherwise the threads will be gone. That's a very efficient tool for that. So that sits back in place, the ball is in, and it's very nice. Now we have to get back this jet in. Just throw it in. Nope, it's not this one. It's this one. Yeah, and let it sit like that. Take a screwdriver and then just screw it back in. It's also a little bit tricky, but if you do it like that, very easy. Now you do the main jet. It's on top. And be sure to do this after you have blow it out completely. So the main jet is in. If you want to know the specs, control them. Samba.com and other sites, and they will have the specs for your carburetor, for your country. Okay. Now we can close up this again. That's 13. And just snug it a little bit, because it will break very easily. Okay, now Oh, I forgot one. I'll be... sorry guys, I forgot one. So it's this one. Let me take him out. We'll blow that hole all out again. It's this one. Little jet. Very fine hole. Let me see if that's okay. Yeah, I cleaned this up and put it back in. Okay, that's cleaned up. Let's blow that hole out. Okay, let's put that back in. It's a very little one. Just at the end, a little snuggie. That's all. Then this top here. Okay. Okay. Now we have the other jet here. Don't know the directly name, but and snug it. Okay, now we take our float, check it out if it's not broken or what. Just put it in water or something and leave it there for a few hours. I've already tested this one, and if you see after many hours you turn it once, it will float, but if there's a little hole in it, it will fill up and it goes down in the water. So make sure just that there is no fluid in there. Push your little axle in there. Be sure you don't lose it. Okay. This goes in. Oops. It goes again. Like that. It sits on the bottom. Now we have our plastic. This one is the aftermarket and this one is the original. And as you can see, the aftermarket is a little bit less thick, so I will use the old one. Now, if you can see, there's a little curve on it. Make sure it's in the right place, otherwise you will have problems. Let me show you how. If you put it in like this, you take your float, that works, yeah? That's no problem. But on the other side, you have your valve here. So if you put that back together, I don't know if you can see it, but I will try it. You see? It doesn't fit. And if you press it down, you will have problems. Yeah? So it still stays open because this one, the valve is in the way of your plastic. So make sure, turn that. It has to be like that. Okay? Now, we leave it like this. This is the tube for the acceleration, where the fuel is jetted out, sprayed out. And this sits here. Where? Well, you can place it there, you can place it there, but you will have problems. This is conic on the bottom. When you push it down or screw this one up on, it will block itself and it will not go left or right anymore. So if you take the carburetor and turn it up, you see here a little hole, yeah? And if you look very closely, you see this one has to be lined up directly to that hole, yeah? So let me set it right. Okay, push that in a little bit, the rest will block it when we screw the top on. So before we put everything back in, put a little bit of fuel in it. Like that. Take something to catch the fuel. Now we're going to spray it. And we have to need, don't know if you can see it, a very nice jet stream. See? It's like milking a cow. But I know that this is working very fine now. Okay. This is something you don't have to do, but before you put everything back together, it's always better to test it. So I'm now very sure this will work. Okay. Putting this fuel aside. Clean up a little bit the wet surface. Okay, now we put back the float in. Oops. Yeah, remember, right side, the curved side, and push that back in. Okay, now we have our seal here, our gasket, and we put back on the top. Okay, that will squirt a little bit because you have tested before. That's no problem. Now you have the screw with the plate on with the type of your carburetor. Set that back here in place. Okay. And screw that back in. That's one. And the 4 others. Okay. Just snug it, otherwise your gasket will be shut. Just a little bit of snugging and that's all. Okay. That's done. One. Okay. Now you put back in volume control screw. This one goes to the bottom, and just at you, if you are the end, don't snug it. Just go to the end, and I'm very freely here with my screwdriver, so it's just at the end. That's all. Now we turn back, we reverse it with 2. So that's a half, 1, 1.5, 2. This is the start position. Same here for the idle screw. We put that in. The same deal here. If I will show you. This tip of the needle, you have to be very careful. If you put that in and you screw it all the way down with big force, well, then you have a big problem. So again, we go to the end, Okay, I'm there. I'm just not snugging it, just go to the end, that's all. With this one, we come back 2.5. So that's half, that's 1, 1.5, 2, 2.5. That's the beginning. Okay, let's clean this up here and we will put this valve back in. Okay, that's cleaned up. Let's put this solenoid back in. 17. Okay, that's done. This is the end of the refurbished 34-Pict3 from Solex. This is one from a 1600 cc Volkswagen Beetle engine. So okay, let's mount that back on the engine and let's see if we can start it up. Okay, I have mounted back the carburetor. We set it on choke. First of all, this one this screw, it then has to touch this one. Can go a little bit further in. Let's see. Yeah, that's it. Okay, we set it on choke. 12 volt on the choke here, 12 volt on the solenoid. I have to put this vacuum line back in from the distributor. Now we're going to push in a little bit of fuel. I just use a bottle, a line, and a hole in the top, and that's all. So we lay that in and just squeeze the bottle very slowly and fill that chamber up. Okay, I guess that will be enough. Okay, contact on. Let's give it a start here. Oops. Almost. So when I put up my hands up here on the carburetor, that's a test for the vacuum leak. If I have a vacuum leak, it would still run, but very shocky. But now I know there's no vacuum leak in it. Well, the carburetor did its job. The engine is running. I still have my thoughts about the condensator, but the owner will renew that. Hopefully it will run a little bit better. First of all, always check the height of your oil. Smell at it. In this case, there was gasoline in it, so too much fuel, I guess. Maybe overfilled in oil, I don't know, can be. But take the oil off, put some really cheap oil in it and let it run for a few minutes so that will take all the fuel out. Pour the oil off, put decent oil in it, and normally the problem will be gone. Except if you have some flakes in your filter, then you have a big problem. So that will be the bearings on the big line that are dead or shot. So I hope you have learned something. If it not goes as the way that you have planned it with the carburetor, it can be that it has too much play on axles or has too many miles on it. So it depends how the old carburetor is. So in this case it runs, but I know a new one will be better. So it's a 70% refurbished carburetor. Can you do it better? Yes, I know, but in this case it runs smoothly, and it's up to the owner what he will do with it. So subscribe, like, share it, place a comment. I will comment back whenever I can. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next episode of the restoration of Phoenix. So take care, and always remember, it still stays a hobby.